welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time to the SSL Challenge. Our challenge tonight will be trying not to reminisce about the good old days of SSL Challenge. It's been a long and wonderful season, so thanks for sticking around with us. I'm Rapid, that's Valdez.
Yeah, we've been around for about, how long now? About 3 months, I guess.
Yeah.
It's been quite a while, reminiscing about the good old days of
3 months ago. Back in my day, when we had our first broadcast. I remember I actually did our first broadcast with Wolf.
That's true, yeah.
I don't remember why, but yeah, it was actually pretty fun. We both wore our green fishing jackets.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was quite the day,
they were
guys.
like, oh, this is going to be really relaxed. You can just wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then instead of letting you wear jackets, we just got
no,
these
you have to
really
dress up
awesome
in a tie,
shirts.
but you can also wear jackets. I don't know, but yeah, it was a while ago.
Well,
it was during the
at least the shirts are goofy, so you know.
Yeah, that is the other thing. The best part about tonight is that I will never have to wear this shirt again. That makes me look like I tied my tie.
Don't
on
speak
the
too early, man. You never know.
I'm burning this immediately after the broadcast. You're like,
you never know.
No, you have to give us your shirt back. I'm like, sorry, I don't know what happened to it. It just spontaneously caught fire. What? I can't control this.
Yeah, must have been the fans. Definitely not Rapid.
Yeah,
that could have done that. So
all right. So this is going to be a little bit of a goofier broadcast. It's our final broadcast, and it's actually kind of important because of the way that the brackets have worked out. So it's round robin, so every player plays every other player. But with the exception of Ryung, who cannot make it onto the top. Into one of our top spots.
Yep.
Yeah, it was not his playoff season, that's for sure. With the exception of Ryung, every player tonight can advance in first place. So there's a possibility for some wacky tiebreakers. But from what our producers told us, as long as Byun wins, then there's no tiebreakers.
No tiebreakers.
All right.
But still, anyone can make it into first place.
If Byun loses and other wacky situations occur, we could have a lot of tiebreakers. So our hopes are with Byun tonight.
For everyone's sanity here on our last broadcast to get us through.
And, of course, we're memeing a little bit, guys. But, yeah, there is a possibility, but a very slim one for those tiebreakers, as tonight is the last night. Now, SSL Challenge does not end with tonight's broadcast. We're going to be transitioning into the fast lane.
I like that. That was good.
There we go.
But as you were saying before, that first place is actually really important for anyone because you don't have to play fast lane at all. You just go right up to the Premier League. So definitely all these players want to get here. You guys can see the matchups, or rather the standings here of all the players. Byun up at first, Hero at second, but still, as we said before, anyone can get first place.
Right. So the biggest thing is going to be Byun versus Deer. If Byun loses and Deer wins, they'll both be 3-2. And that's going to be kind of a wacky situation. Also, down below Byun and Hero, Classic TY Deer, all with the same score. So we will use head-to-heads and match scores to determine whether or not there are tiebreakers that are necessary. And here's a look at our final games for tonight. Classic versus Ryung, Byun versus Deer, and Hero versus TY.
Yeah, it's just funny the way that it all works out because, you know, we were saying, okay, there are two people up at 3-1, but how is it possible that Deer can make it still into first place? Well, Deer's playing against Byun, so if Deer wins, then Byun loses, and then, of course, he would need Hero to lose as well. And then I suppose if TY wins 2, he would have to win like a 3-2, but Deer wins like a 3-0, and so Deer's ahead in match score, and then maybe he takes first place. So obviously very complicated, but we'll keep you guys informed as we go along exactly what the stance is of this tournament.
It's okay. After that explanation, all of our viewers have a large rapidly decaying shield because you just broke it down. So it's good to have Brendan here to let us know how things are going. And, of course, as our results come in from the games tonight, we'll let you know how that affects the standings. If you have a favorite player in the games tonight, then obviously you want to know whether or not they're going to move on to that fast lane or instantly promote to SSL Premier. And we should talk about SSL Premier. Venden Valdez.
Venden Valdez. Here we go.
I did it again.
I got a new name tonight, guys, on the last day.
I can't help it.
What exactly do you want to talk about from Premier?
We'll talk about that Premier Finals.
Yeah, well, we got the finals next Saturday, not today, obviously.
So not today.
Yeah, that will be at 6 p.m. and it will have not just
man on fire. It's been really cool watching him play in online leagues. And tonight, I think he has by far the best matchup versus Hero. That's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, the most fun matchup to watch.
Oh, yeah, definitely
not the easiest matchup for TY here, as Hero's been on a roll.
Yeah, and there's no Zerg players, which means Protoss don't automatically lose and Terrans don't automatically win with Reapers. So I'm just kidding. Few memes from GSL today, guys. Yeah. But it's actually really cool to see things work out this way at the very end, where we just get such cool matchups. And for our other two matchups, I think Ryung and maybe Deer are probably underdogs there with a classic.
Big time,
yeah. Classic especially, I think, is probably just gonna, okay, I gotta win the game. Okay, I gotta win now. No,
take a nap for a minute and still win the game.
I just think it's so impressive to watch a guy like Classic. Like, this is a SSL challenge, right? So these are players that are challenging to get in Premier. I'm like, well, this guy actually just won GSL before, and so we have Classic, Beyond, Deer, all three have won GSL before. We've got Hero, who
won SSL.
Yeah, won SSL Super Tournament as well. So this guy is just like absolutely super sick and insane. We got TY won $400,000 at WESG. Like, okay, these are actually like the best players in the world right here, guys. So I think it's actually
Challenge is actually the best tournament in Korea. We've made this meme, but actually it's true here in second stage. But
I don't know. It just seems weird to call this a challenge. The challenge is when these players then go, it looks like challenge players are promoting to Premier, when really now we're just giving the Premier players the ability to play against such challenging players.
Yeah, I think especially some of those players that are down towards the bottom of Premier that are going to be playing against our fast lane players from Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to get wrecked.
Well, see, that's going to be what's so interesting.
I think it's going to be very one-sided.
Well, because the idea is that if you're in the Premier League and you're playing against players from a lower, double quotes, league, that'll be more difficult. But, I mean, when the play levels are so even, who knows what can happen. So let's go ahead and talk about the players for our first matchup tonight. This is Classic. He had I feel like the stats there look a lot more mediocre than his play. He by far has looked insanely good in GSL.
Oh, yeah.
And in SSL, he has had victories versus the strongest players. And he's against this guy named Ryung. Individually, a very good player in some situations, mostly noted for his TBT. But SSL has just not been his tournament.
Yeah, he's really been struggling here. I mean, 0-4. He did get into the second stage here with the top 6 players in Challenge, but then after that, just against every single person he plays, he really, really struggles. I mean, you guys saw his games against Beyond last week. That was definitely...
I'm still thinking about those games.
Yeah, those are the games that you just kind of want to forget. When you're a pro player, you're like, okay, I just want to let that one go. Like, go to sleep, try to remove this from my mind.
Well, see, so what removed those games from my mind, Brendan, was watching GSL earlier on today. Lucero was playing ZVZ, and he went 3 hatch before pool. And he lost the game in 1 minute and 50 seconds, essentially. And I'm like, okay, I've made like 2 drones by that time in my games, guys. I don't know. It was a very fast series, and I feel like every player, every once in a while, just has to prove that there are situations where a build doesn't work. And I feel like Ryung has proven many of those builds have to be handled in the hands of an expert. Earlier on today, Maru proved that you can't just build Reapers versus Zerg. You actually have to know how to use them. And we'll get a chance to see Beyond. If he tries to go mass Reapers versus Protoss, I think he's going to probably be pretty sad.
That'd be funny, though.
Yeah, I don't think he can do that. It's like, that's actually just not a thing.
Yeah.
But who knows? Beyond just has to, he looks at the matchup just like, okay, well, which units can I micro the most? It's like, all right, these 3, all right. Those are what I'm making.
Fastest units in the game. Yeah. Okay, there you go. They can also jump up cliffs. That definitely helps. I guess Phoenixes are probably faster. I think it's comparable, actually.
What is the fastest? What is the fastest unit in the game, guys? This is where
this is a good first question for Twitter.
True.
For sure.
This is actually really cool because every time I ask a question on the broadcast, like 2 days later, when people are watching the VODs from SSL, they'll be like, "Hey, I know the answer to the question," and they'll tweet it at me, and that's actually really cool because it's sort of like perpetual. If nobody answers it like directly now, then later on they can answer it. So yeah, it's an interactive portion of tonight's broadcast, which is usually just reserved for hanging out, watching some StarCraft. I told somebody, I forget who it was, that we should just be allowed to, like, instead of like these chairs, we should cast in Lazy Boys, just like lean back a little bit.
Yeah.
We we should get you know, me, the boys, and a cold one. I have a cold one right here.
Oh, is that the newest meme rapid? I haven't seen.
It's true.
Too much
It was
of that.
very highly rated on /our meme economy, so I know what I'm doing
nice.
here. I'm a consummate professional, and we'll see who else knows what they're doing here. As Classic takes on Ryung here. Are our maps: Newkirk Precinct, Belshire Vestige, Whirlwind, Thistle Reef, and Frost.
Yeah, and for me, this is kind of interesting. We've seen that Ryung definitely likes to play on the bigger maps against Protoss. He wants to go CC first. He wants to take the risks. But if you guys remember what happened in the first stage of SSL Challenge, Ryung tried to do that against Classic twice in a row. Not the CC first. He did that in the second game on Frost, but tried to go for a very risky build, and it just did not work out. So
Had some hashtag big fans show up.
So he did get 2-0'd by Classic in the first stage, and I hope that he plays it a little bit safer to start things off, so we don't have the quickest 3-0 of all of the second stage Rapid. So
all I want, I don't. He can
all
play,
you want for mid-season Christmas is
I don't even care how fast or slow he plays the game. I just want him to play the game, and it felt like in his games versus Beyond last week, he kind of stopped playing the game at a point. He was like, okay, I'm going to proxy him, so he builds the barracks. And I'm like, all right, what comes next? And then he kind of forgot where to go after that. So hopefully he remembers, and hopefully Classic is a merciful god, because he has been looking pretty good so far in SSL Challenge. This is our final night of games. These are the last games that Classic is going to have to play, at least in the regular season of our second stage. So see how he does. Can Ryung keep from having a winless season? We're about to find out as we get into our first set of the night. Classic versus Ryung. Fly, better fly.
nice, very relaxing. I like it. Down here in the bottom left, it is the Protoss player Classic, and his opponent, the Blue Terran, it is Ryung. So I was thinking about something here in the second stage.
What were you thinking about,
We were talking about how all these players, by the way, we are going to have some kind of crazy proxy here by Ryung once again.
I knew it. I literally just got done talking about...
Looks like just one Rax Reaper. But anyway, back to my story. The question here is not who's going to get first place only, but who is going to get fifth place. Because Ryung is stuck in sixth place, right?
That's true.
And the top four have a chance to make it into Premier.
Yeah.
But the fifth place player, he's played all these games, he's collected a bunch of money, and it's going to feel very anticlimactic if he's just going to go home and say, okay, I get to play in Season 2 of SSL Challenge when he got this close to having a chance to making it into
In case
Premier.
you guys couldn't see, Brendan held his fingers very close together.
Yeah. I had to make that really loud, this close, to give you guys the visual image.
Just in case you couldn't see. Helping you guys out here. All right, Zealot first. Zealots do not traditionally do very good against Reapers. This is where watch Ryung make a Marine. Oh, okay. All right, you have the chance to relive the meme, but no, this is going to be a one Rax Reaper. It's going to get there a little bit ahead of schedule. We're not going to see a bunker or anything crazy like that, but who knows what Ryung can pull out of his wacky bag of tricks, Valdez.
Yeah, trying to pull a shine here, perhaps.
Hey, I'm just surprised he's not making, in a totally different location, a proxy starport.
Coming out next, he keeps his SCV out on the map. He proxies it up in the top right. We're like, okay, this guy's officially gone mad.
Just wait for the proxy fusion core, man. That's really what you got. I don't know, man. All right, so one Reaper coming in here a little bit early. Of course, it'll be able to kite that Zealot to infinity and beyond. But eventually an Adept will come out. By eventually, I mean right now.
The thing about the Zealot is that it just forces you to micro. You can't really be comfortably killing probes off, make it a very easy. So the Zealot is just for safety. And the Reaper that came out very early actually scouted the quite quick Stargate here from Classic that we do have on the way. Very common for this map.
Now, we actually got a chance to see, I think it was Maru earlier on today, use the proxy barracks to try to block the command center. Ryung actually could have done it if he had placed in a couple of tiles sooner, but did not elect to do that. Scouting Reaper will finally get picked off.
He chose to allow that to get picked off.
I mean, he's got a buddy friend Reaper guy over here. I'm not sure exactly why that guy was there. Neither one of these Reapers really had a whole lot of potential. The first one maybe, just because there's only a Zealot. But
yeah, when you go for this build, you go for one Reaper. You know, you don't make two Reapers.
To be fair,
that's why, like, when we watch Ryung's builds, it just doesn't seem to make sense recently.
Well, these are the mysterious builds that, you know, inquiring minds want to know the answers, the secrets of. Because, you know, I think about all these broadcasts. When I was watching my very first broadcasts of the, I think it was the first open season of the GSL, you know, I went back and watched some of those games, and you just look at the builds and you just wonder. You just wonder what could possibly be the thoughts that come out in these builds. And obviously, we're many, many years into the future. Players know how to play the game at extremely high levels. And these are all very, very skilled players. Ryung is still one of the best Terran players in the world, even though he is one of the worst players in GSL. And SSL, and, you know, tournaments where he hasn't had a lot of success. He's still incredibly talented. So even though we're kind of joking about his builds and things like this is only because he's playing against Classic, who is probably like the #1 or 2 best Protoss player on the planet Earth.
Yeah, it's just about the level of competition, as we always do have to kind of disclaim here in the broadcast when we do criticize some of the players. So
how many people are in the planet Earth now, Brendan?
I think it's got to be over 7 billion. I've been hearing that number for too long now.
Yeah,
Rapid.
I feel like I don't know how population endemics work, but I feel like it should be, you know, something around that number.
Maybe like 7.5.
So if you are one of a group of people on this planet, and that group is maybe like, you know, 200 or more, or 200 or less, like that's just the smallest group. Like that's the point, 200 zeros and then a 1%. And these guys are all members of that as, you know, elite StarCraft players. So this is a relatively popular build, Brendan. It involves things like Phoenix and Adepts. And both of those are headed right towards Ryung's main. And he's about to find out how good this build is.
Look at the builds here from Ryung, too. I mean, he went double Viking, double Cyclone, and I think he made a couple of Widow Mines, but I don't really see them here in the mix.
No, they're not there, Brendan.
So he just picks up both of the Cyclones, comes in here with just 5 Adepts, and it looks like this is actually going to kill Ryung.
Hey, there are the Widow Mines, Valdez.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
No, they're right there. I see them.
They're just chilling.
All right. Well, okay,
GG.
there we go. All right, there we go. All right, mission accomplished. Game 1 in the books. Classic. Yeah, he won, Brendan.
He did the things.
He did that thing, yeah.
I mean, we were joking coming into this one, like, this is potentially going to be one of the most one-sided series. I wasn't expecting to see that. I mean, we saw him go for the proxy, it didn't work, but then the follow-up and the reaction to knowing that the Stargate is there is just not what you normally see. And when you make double Cyclone, double Widowmine, and then you don't even have your Widowmines in place to deal with an attack like that, that's where things just fall apart completely.
He was really covering his bases against that Oracle, making it into his mineral line, man.
Yeah. I guess that must have been what it had to have been, right? Because we just didn't see the Widow Mines.
Every time we finish a game like this, I always look up to our screen over here. We've got the Korean commentators, and we can watch them. And I forget who it was. It was Engine. It's just like really adamantly gesturing about probably how non-standard.
Yeah. That's one way to put it.
That build was. Yeah, so, wow, what an experience we've just been through. This is a best.
We all experienced it together.
We
That's
did.
The most important thing.
We collectively shared this experience of.
Nice.
I've let it, you know, impact my body in ways I never thought I would be impacted before. I'm feeling feelings I've never felt, Brendan. This is quite the series tonight, guys, and it's a best of 5. So we're guaranteed at least 2 more games.
And I think that's what Classic wants to cut it down to. We saw him yawning coming into the booth. He's like, oh, let's get this over with. And actually, it is quite important for Classic to take the 3-0 because of the match score. He wants to make sure that he has the best score possible. He is the last person to play against Ryung. All the other players have beaten him so far. He wants to do the same.
All right, well, we are about to better fly, on to game number 2. This is Classic, and his opponent down here in the blue is Ryung.
Yeah, and you can see the look on his face is pretty sour. I mean, you really got a feel for the guy where it just seems nothing is working out. When this is your professional career and nothing is working out, that's when it feels even worse, you know. if you're just playing for fun on the ladder and it's not going well,
right?
We all know that that sucks. But when you're in the booth like this and everybody's watching, it's more than just you know, those simple bad feelings.
That is very true. And you know, I feel like one way that you help yourself get out of that rut is just by playing a standard build or playing a style that you are used to. Earlier on today in GSL, Maru was trying to imitate Byun's Mass Reaper style versus Zerg, and he just couldn't do it. His control of the Reapers and his KD8 charge mine placement was just way off, and he wound up losing several series today trying to emulate that strategy and then getting countered, having it dealt with by the way, the best Zergs on the planet. So that might have also contributed. But as soon as he reverted back to his standard, you know, aggressive drop stim style, things just worked out very, very well for him. So sometimes the way to reset yourself, to get yourself, you know, back in the game is to go back to your roots. And so maybe that's what Ryung is going to work on here. Unfortunately, he's not really going to get the chance to play a standard game.
Yeah, Classic, you know, Belcher Vestige, there's definitely a couple of very nice spots for Proxy Stargate. This is one of them. The other one is on the right side, obviously above the main. He's going to go for this, and back at home he has enough for an Adept and a Mothership Core. Going to delay the Warp Gate research for now. And you can see that Ryung, he's checking the wrong place, unfortunately, so he won't have the information on the Stargate for quite a while.
This is highly unfortunate, Valdez. Wow. All right, yeah, so this is going to be very difficult to deal with. Reaper will eventually scout the main, and so this will tip Ryung off that at least there are some shenanigans afoot, especially if this Reaper gets...
Rilipepper, the newest Pokemon.
That does sound like a Pokemon name. Isn't that Pelipper?
Pelipper.
Pelipper,
Yeah.
there we go.
Bit of damage, especially because these turrets are not up yet, but
you can actually fly in and get more damage done. I think the biggest thing right now for Classic is that he's totally shut down this natural expansion. Not going to be mining there for even a while, and even when there is mining, he's got now three oracles that will be harassing that expansion.
Yeah, you can see this time Classic with the Proxy Stargate is not going to be making Phoenixes.
No, indeed, he will not. I want him to queue up
a pressure.
I want him to queue up a fourth oracle. Like this is
He's
where
still chrono boosting it. There it is.
Oh, ho, ho. Somewhere says a single tier. Like, yes, my man. A very beautiful build indeed. Now you can tell this isn't Has because Classic hasn't built every building in his base.
Canceled it.
Outside of his base. This is why we can't have nice things, Classic. You had one job, that is to build 4 oracles.
If you go 4 oracles, you can kill a turret.
You can. Indeed you can, especially if you micro them successfully. Instead now he's killing add-ons, Brendan.
Well, I mean, that's pretty nice. You know, he's going to delay the stim for quite a while. Pulls on through, kills 5 more SCVs. And even though his own Nexus was delayed for quite a while, we're looking at a Terran that can't even fully saturate one base.
That's very true. Also, the Proxy Stargate still alive, and you can still warp in there, so... it looks like we're going to just go Blink Stalker all in afterwards. I would be surprised if we see Classic throw down a third base, especially with the perceived skill mismatch here. After game number 1 and after having seen Ryung struggle in this league, and especially after Classic just having dominated a vast amount of the competition, I would think that he feels fairly capable at ending the game relatively early.
I do agree with you. You know, sometimes if you're looking at this spot, we've seen defensive blink a lot of times, but when you've done this much damage already, you know the Terran is going to be lacking units, and 3 Oracles plus this many Stalkers is really brutal against an only Marine army, basically. And that's what he's going to try to attack here. He has avoided that Widow Mine to the north for now. It's like that one Adept will, in fact, take the hit.
It's a cheeky little Widow Mine. By that, I mean that it is somewhat sarcastically and annoyingly placed behind just to add extra meaning to a very commonly used word.
There you go.
Just thought I'd clarify that there. All right, so this is going to be a little bit of a micro battle. the stasis ward there.
That's really cute.
We're watching memes in real life, Valdez. Yeah, so nothing can really come up and contest that stasis ward. There's no detection aside from a scan.
He doesn't even have blink yet. This is just pressure without blink. He kills the orbital, and the tank is out, but it's too late. And you can see Ryung in the booth actually talking to himself, a little bit of an embarrassed smirk. The stim is late, and Classic just going to throw down at third base here. This is a reckoning and a half.
Ryung also supply blocked, like way supply blocked, so he has to build 3 depots instead of any units right now. So there's no Marines in production, no Marauders, no Medivacs. He does have a landed Viking though, so
that's good.
Hey, dude, it gets
he's got the landed Viking.
That plus armor damage is just gonna rip through these Stalkers. Oh my god.
What if he just walked across the map and stomped Classic? That would be the funniest
Classic
thing ever.
lost this game. I would never cast again, Brendan.
You give up your casting license,
I would hand it in right at the door, man.
Of course, you have to study 5 years under Tasteless to get your casting license.
Yeah, that's true. I've only been out here one.
Very, very expensive, that license. But either way, that's going to be the end of game number 2. Classic going to sweep Ryung under the rug. Under the Ryung. And we're going into, again, one of our most one-sided series here.
Yikes. I mean, I think we were all there. Well, maybe not all of us. Maybe there's some guys out there that are going to pretend like they were here.
He's one guy's going to be watching the VOD. He's like, oh, I wasn't there.
Well,
but I'm watching the VOD. You're okay. You're good.
That's all right. If you go back and watch the VODs, you too can redeem yourself. You have to say 3 Hail Beyonds, and then you'll be right back where you need to be. Last week, I remember watching those games and even rewatching them just to make sure that I saw what I saw. And, Ryung did not look good. And coming into playoffs, I feel like Ryung played very close series, especially some of his TBTs looked okay. But then things just really went downhill and kind of fell apart. And I think that's what we're witnessing at its apex here in our series tonight. It's just sort of, the death of former Slayers player, very, very well renowned for his time, but now it looks like the next generation is coming back. Classic, as it were. All right, here we go, guys. Flying, better fly Jin Air onto our third map. This is going to be Whirlwind, and that is going to be Classic.
His opponent, it is Ryung. And you got to feel bad for this guy. I mean, he is 0-4 coming into today. So, in his perspective, I made this joke a lot in Premiere because if you get 0-2, you pick up $200. But
yeah, that is true.
If you lose this, it doesn't matter what the score is, you pick up $200 in the second stage of SSL Challenge. So, Ryung has officially become our Monopoly StarCraft 2 player. And, I mean, you got to feel bad for him. He's looking pretty unhappy right now. I'm sure once he has some time off to practice a bit more, he'll be back here in Challenge. He does have that seed after making it into the second stage, and I'm sure he's going to be one of our mid-level contenders, and we'll see if maybe even he could do better for next season.
Now, there's a Nexus on the way. I actually thought that the early probe from Classic was going to be used for a proxy. Instead, he actually just got in here. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see at least an attempt at maybe a gas steal super early, maybe some mana pylons, although that's not really a thing. We could still see him, throw down a pylon for an overcharge later, but I don't even think that's going to be a thing, especially since, the distances on Whirlwind are very large. So, just an early annoying probe.
Yeah, this is very common nowadays, and he did his damage. He's coming in here just trying to be annoying. He forces another SCV off, And now he will just go back.
This is the mind game, Brendan. This is where he goes for the proxy.
Well, he is going up north. Looks like he's keeping it on top of the ramp for now. So
this is... Oh my goodness. I'm guessing it's just going to be for a proxy pylon, or he's just hiding it there so it doesn't die to the Reaper.
Yeah, just a delayed scout.
Yeah. All right. Reaper goes out, probe goes in. You can't explain that.
Ryung can't seem to explain it or handle it right now.
He turns the Reaper around. He's coming back.
He's coming back.
Like, all you need is
probe
another
moves
SCP,
out,
bro.
Reaper comes back.
Also can't explain that.
He's making a pylon. He's just trying to make Ryung freak out right now.
Yeah, he's really just kind of messing with him a little bit. There's no mothership core on the way. Yeah, it's just... This is... Oh my god. Alright, there is the mothership core finally, but it will not be used to overcharge that pylon. I can promise you that much. Either way, the Reaper will finally make its way across the base. There's one very useless Zealot right there. I mean, it gets credit for attendance. It can raise its hand in class. Can't really participate against the Reaper, but here's an Adept.
He almost slapped him. Oh, the overcharge.
Wow, that's some respect.
And now we got 2 Hellions on the way. You don't see this very often, but it's definitely kind of a...
Okay.
I wouldn't call it cheesy, but it's just unexpected from Ryung, and it definitely can get damage done because the overcharge was used. Especially if those Adepts move out onto the map and Classic gets a little bit too aggressive. This could have done a bit of damage.
Well, one of the reasons you don't see this a whole lot is because it's pretty easy to defend here, especially if there is energy for an overcharge and a pylon. Yeah, there's that pylon warping in, and we should actually maybe not see an overcharge. Okay.
He got surrounded by the probes, actually, and that pylon placement was actually fantastic.
I was really worried that the probes were going to like try to surround and then wind up lining up and going down to 2 Hellion shots.
He actually lost a total of 0.
Yeah,
probes.
Instead, the exact opposite happened, and both of those Hellions died for free. So, I mean, right now, Ryung at least is on point in his build. He's like, okay, Stargate, Oracle's on the way, better get some turrets up. So those are on the way, and Ryung is going to finish his upgrades in a reasonable time. Last game he was a little bit late on those, and that really cost him. But at least this time it seems like he will be able to at least put up a fight.
Yeah, and by the way, I have gotten the word, guys. If Classic does win 3-0 and Hero and Beyond both lose, then Classic can get out in first place.
What a world that would be.
So, needs the 3-0, but also needs Hero and Beyond to lose, which I think is very unlikely
Fairly unlikely, yes.
Extremely unlikely.
Yes, somewhat unlikely.
I think the 3-0 is very likely, but the rest of that, I don't know.
All right, here comes the strongest unit in Classic's army. A single Oracle. That's the Oracle at Delphi right there. It can both tell the future and kill every Terran unit.
That Oracle can get really obnoxious against Terran. I mean, you think about what Ryung has done to try to hold this off. He made double turrets.
Yeah.
He made a bunch of Widow Mines, which he can drop in the future, but they're just sitting here not gaining any value. They're just sitting there in the base, specifically to either hold off some Adepts that run in the front, but also to deal with the Oracles. And because Ryung is forced to play so defensively, Classic takes the super early third base.
Well, so that's the other odd thing here. Classic went in and just used Revelation and left. There were 3 like spread out Marines right there. You can just kill all of those with that Oracle. Instead, he just revelates.
He's a merciful god.
Indeed, he is. Yes, Classic sparing the lives of those Marines. The ones running out in the middle of the map will not have their lives spared. Oh, wow. Okay, so the Widow Mine is correct.
Yeah, ends up finally getting value here.
I also got splash damage on the other Oracle, so it's very, very low. Has 15 HP. There's a cannon now building for Classic. I don't necessarily think I've seen that quite before.
Drops from the natural into the main are very easy to boost on over there. It's like one boost and just a little bit, and you're basically on the lip, on the cliff there. So putting one cannon will definitely make drops a little bit easier to hold.
Look at what Classic keeps doing. He's not even using these Oracles to really harass. He only has one of them now, but he's just continually revealing Ryung's army. He's like, all right, I know where you are. You can't surprise me. I know exactly what you're doing. And so that's going to really make it difficult for Ryung to pull this off. He is going up to, I think, 5 racks right now. He's going to have a lot of bio. I'm really kind of curious to see how Classic wants to deal with that. I think Colossus make a lot of sense. We've seen a little bit more Colossus play versus Terran these days.
I'm also curious about Ryung too, because in a lot of the games that he's played against Protoss recently, it seems like he wants to go into the late game. He takes all these risks to try to get ahead and, you know, get that 3rd base, but we haven't really seen it because Protoss has just shut him down, and Ryung didn't seem to have the tools to deal with it. So now we're finally getting to see him, excuse me, play on a big map where he can actually get a 3rd base and play this macro style. And is this going to be the game where he actually sticks up to one of these Protoss bullies?
So I suggested the Colossus earlier as a fool. I thought that this was going to be that macro style Valdez. Instead, no, it will be a Warp Prism and many adepts. Many adepts.
Many.
Okay, well, we're going to see that come online here in just a little bit. In the meantime, Ryung has just really not accomplished a whole lot. He does have his 3 bases up and running and complete, and the SimCity's going, the upgrades are online, concussive shell now being upgraded, and 1 lone scouting Marine against the aggressive blink there, Valdez.
He wanted to take care of that guy real quick.
No, man, cannot let him get in there and get that scouting information. All right. So Classic will finally split his army. Cannon lasts for not very long at all. That is not enough Terran units, and force fields do not stop dropships from picking them up. Yeah, I guess Ryung kind of stopped dropping and trying to roll over a little bit of this. Finally, it will get cleaned out, and I actually thought that was going to be a lot more difficult to deal with, but Classic very adeptly takes it out. Yeah, that's what he did. Valdez. Yeah, I saw it.
Ooh, Ghost Academy.
8 more adepts on the way. Ghost EMP is a great way to deal with adepts. They seem to be very, very tanky, but take off their shields and all of a sudden, they're not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost half their health. They tend to clump up as you shade them or just run them around. Very easy targets. They're not that fast, although they are mobile with their shading ability. And now here comes Classic trying to do a lot of economic damage.
Right.
Seems taking out an insane amount of SCVs. This was only about 8 adepts. He's killed 24 SCVs. That's 1/3 of Ryung's economy in terms of workers, at least.
Also stimming in here is not going to be effective. There are 2 Immortals on the high ground, 2 overcharges, and no way to break that entrenched 3rd base position.
Well, he's got
that
3.
Marine's going to get it done, though.
Yeah, he's got 3 ghosts on the way. So I think his one shot, one opportunity might just be to attack at one location and try to hit some insane EMPs and just try to overwhelm him with this 2-2. He does have a nice timing here. I feel like he hasn't taken amazing trades up until this point.
Yeah. Why is there 1 bunker in the production tab, but it's not constructing? Am I wrong to expect that to be building? Did he start a bunker and then
he probably, yeah, it's probably at his natural or something.
So he started building the bunker and then maybe the SCV died to adepts. I didn't actually catch that right there.
Uh-oh.
Whoa! One of those dropships will go down. Now that's
the ghosts!
They counter the adepts perfectly, Valdez.
But they're spotted too.
I clearly did not think of ghosts as the adept counter, not only because of the plus light damage, but also because the EMP. Ryung will deal with this consistent adept harassment. However, he is now down to 40 SCVs.
Yeah, does have a pretty nice army, but as I said before, he needs to group it up and get the EMPs.
All right, here comes 1 ghost in there. Will the EMP land in an acceptable place? It doesn't seem to have gone off just yet.
It did. He did get a pretty good EMP on the adepts that did shade, but another 8 do warp in on the high ground here. It's a pretty close fight. Ryung does have a chance. The Time Warp is coming down. Looks like it might just be a little bit too much Terran here.
They're so Valdez. They're not actually moving in the Time Warp anymore. All right. Yeah, so this is actually a lot of damage for Ryung.
Yeah, it looks like he may have actually finally done it. He listened to me, grouped up his army, got the MPs, and won the game. There you go. Ryung does take a map here against Classic.
It was the Ghosts, man. Took out all those Adepts.
That it was. So, yeah, even though Classic knew it was coming, he still wasn't able to split quite well enough. And I think it was only just one EMP that was enough to actually deal with that.
So the EMP heard round the world.
Around Classic's world, at least. So.
It did. It rocked his world, man. Took him out. It's going to tie up our series at 1-1, guys.
And I think because Classic is ahead in terms of match score on some of the other players that he's tied with 2-2, he might still be able to get first place, but I think it might be head-to-head first, as you were talking about.
So it's head-to-head and then match score.
Okay.
So if you have two players that are tied on set score, then you look at their head-to-head. And if one player has beaten the other before, then you use that to break the tie. Then if they've both beaten each other before, then you use the match score. And whoever has the better match score is the player that advances. Now, if your match score is also just identical, that's where we run into the problems and have to go for a tiebreaker, which would be pretty wacky to see, but not totally out of the cards just yet. Now, I think I said it was tied up 1-1. That was about as incorrect as our first game. So 2-1 right now. Classic 1 game away from advancing to the next round.
Yeah, might be able to do it. He definitely will at least be in the top 4 if he does win this one.
This is what happens when you just totally block games out of your mind.
I want to pretend that didn't exist too, Rapid.
All right, well, we're going to fly better fly into our 4th game of the night. Guys, it's Classic, our yellow Protoss player. He's yellow, right? All right, yeah. I just forgot in the last 2 seconds. How does it work? I don't know. Our blue Terran player, Ryung, oddly enough, in the yellow jersey. So
I think that's green.
There's no way that's green, Brendan.
Are you another wolf? Do we need to?
There's no way. No, I promise you the TES logo is guaranteed yellow, 100%. Somebody
I don't know. The lighting was weird. Okay, so in that
is that weird?
In that shot, I wasn't sure.
Is the dress blue or gold, Brendan?
I saw it was, what was it, white and gold? That was the one
white
I
girl
saw.
or blue and black? Yeah.
Yeah. I was the white and gold guy.
Oh my gosh. How is it just doesn't even make any sense, Valdez. You'll never be a good StarCraft caster at this rate.
I could never get my colors right.
It all comes down to the one meme.
Always mix up who's playing who.
Here comes another annoying probe from Classic. Didn't really accomplish all that much, but it just forces a better economic trade. It's like, well, you have to spend 2 workers, while I only have to spend 1. So that's going to be okay. Cyber Core on the way, as well as an additional Nexus. Here's this probe being annoying again and stopping this command center from being placed immediately. Is he going to dive back in? Nope.
This looks like he
thought about it.
Yeah. Maybe he wanted to just make sure as well. Wanted to see that CC begin building. Then he'll go home with the information.
So last game, Classic hit the probe very adeptly. Was it? I'm gonna keep doing that. Big fan of the word.
Is that your thing tonight, Rob?
It really, it really could be. This is the next thing besides yikes that people tell me never to ever say again. I'm blacklisted from using it. Also interesting. Not allowed to say interesting. If you guys could come up with like a list of words.
Or exciting.
Also exciting. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All of these like overused cast
Nothing
words.
is ever exciting anymore.
So because of some recent feedback, I took a sticky note and I wrote a list of words on it that I'm never allowed to say again.
That seems counterproductive. You like have a list of words right in front of you that you're not supposed to say.
So what I'll do is I'll go back and rewatch a VOD of whatever cast I've just done, and then I'll listen for these words that are right there. So I'll be like, okay, well these are the words I'm listening for, and if they occur or occur too much, then I'm like, okay, well let's work on this.
10 push-ups.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to add a depth onto this. Something is like the funniest thing in the world. These Korean casters, they're across the studio from us, but sometimes you can just hear them say the most funny thing that history has ever witnessed. and you just hear them start cracking up. To be fair, as funny as we are, Valdez, the Korean broadcasters specifically for Classic or for Challenge are just the most funny, insanely.
They're like professional comedians.
They
or
are.
Something.
They are so funny. So if you guys are either bilingual or have a Korean friend, go watch the Korean broadcast of Challenge.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I heard it was doing quite well. Pretty popular here in Korea. So.
Okay. All right.
It looks like Classic wants to do a similar build as to what he did in Game 1. He's like, okay, enough of this. Actually, as I say that, he puts down a third base, so.
Yeah, there's both a third base and this Phoenix coming out is going to be a little bit Okay, see, that's another word that's on my list. I'm not allowed to say that either.
Introductory to Protoss play here.
Nice save there, Valdez. Got my back on that one.
Intrusive to Ryung's base. There you go.
Oh boy. Okay, so you're absolutely right. That could be what it's for. Now, what interests me about this play specifically, thereby to not make it a generic throwaway statement, is because of the different situation. Last game that you were referencing, Classic used these Phoenix to run in, pick up the Cyclones on the ground, and make it easier to bust the front position. Worked out very well. This time around, it looks like Ryung is at least positioning more aggressively than he did previously. He's going to kill off the scouting probe. He also is looking to throw up a third base behind this aggressive pressure.
Yeah, and similarly to what he did in the Whirlwind game, getting that very early third base, if it does go undetected, is going to be quite nice because it will really get his economy going. And look at this. Oh, the last minute split there by Classic saves a bunch of his probes.
Yeah, micro.
Not even sure that he saw that one.
He's just everywhere. Yeah, was that? I'm going to call that purposeful and.
No, yeah. He definitely saw it, but what I meant to say is I don't even know how he saw that one.
I don't know either. You're doing a million things all over the map, and all of a sudden you're like, there's a line drawn from the ground to my probes.
Oh my god.
I wonder
you can like hear it from across the map. You're so good at the game.
I was going to try to mimic the sound that a Widow Mine makes when it explodes, but I think the world's better off without that. All right, here we go. This is exactly what I think you were talking about earlier.
That's a Viking.
Wait, what? Get it? Why doesn't the Viking just fly when you lift it up with the gravitic, or not gravitic drive, the graviton beam? Like, am I not? So
it's stuck in that one situation in its life.
Is that how that works? So I remember if you guys watched Robotech way back in the day, their aircraft had like 3 modes. There was like a ground walker mode, there was an airplane mode, and then there was this in-between mode where it was like half morphed from an airplane that was very mobile into like this sort of, I don't know, it's like it had its wings bent down, it could hover, like a helicopter kind of mode. I think the Vikings should be able to do that, where if you lift it up, it's like kind of still capable of flying. Unfortunately, this is not the StarCraft
world. It can
like
fight back or something.
Yeah,
but if you're in graviton beam, if you get lifted, I think you're supposed to not be able to fight back. You're like in stasis.
I guess that
in the beam, so you can't transform or anything like that.
Phoenixes are pretty good units.
That's what I would guess. I don't know the lore behind the graviton beam, but.
Somewhere out there, somebody has been like, graviton beam, let's build one of those. That guy is probably super smart and or I don't know, an evil genius.
Crazy
we'll find out about those later. Yeah. Imagine how many crazy scientists want StarCraft, Valdez. I imagine it must be abnormally high compared to other esports.
Well, didn't Idra like start studying physics or something in college?
I'm pretty sure that guy could study, you know, I don't know, feng shui and be a master at that too. Super smart. I actually think, imagine if the combined intellect of every StarCraft player had been channeled into, you know, something else. Well, that thing would just be like insanely advanced, because StarCraft, I feel like, does have a number of very smart players here. So these are 2 of them, and even though the builds have been a little bit wacky so far, I think this one looks a little bit more normal to me compared to others that we've seen.
Yeah, this is the first game really where it's been pretty standard, other than Ryung trying to scuttle his Widow Mines into the mineral lines. He's actually done quite a nice bit of damage with both of those mines. I think a total of 7 probes were killed.
Widow Mines and Mineral Lines. Sounds like the name of an album or something. And wow, that's a lot of barracks, Valdez. We'll be pumping out, I think, 3 or 4 Marauders at a time. 3, it looks like. So this is going to be a big bio ball coming out, but this time, Classic took my advice from the last series and is going to build into Colossus.
And it doesn't really seem as if Ryung knows about this just yet. He wants to go into double starport extended range Liberators, it looks like. I don't think he knows about the Colossi. I don't see any Vikings on the production tab just yet. Was just making a bunch of medevacs. Funnily enough, right now he's not making anything out of those starports, even though he does have a bit of a bank. Okay, there we go. The Liberators finally begin to come out, and that scan should show him everything.
Holy, that is a money scan right there. You see not only the robotic support bay, you're also going to see the Colossus come out at the same time. So all of a sudden, Ryung knows this is the perfect time to strike. There's only one Colossus. You don't want to let the Protoss get that death ball up. Perfect time to push out, but can he do it?
Well, this army is very Marine heavy at this point. You don't see too many Marauders. And it looks like Ryung wants to stay on just the Liberators. We don't see... Okay, there we go. There's the upgrade for the extended range.
Okay, that's kind of cool to add in. Great way of stopping these big Colossus pushes. It's kind of hard to get those where you need to. Oh, wow. A cheeky Widow Mine.
That Widow Mine was sitting there for like a total of 5 minutes in this game, and he finally got his moment to shine.
The Widow Mine's time to shine. There's a scan just to make sure there aren't any enemy Widow Mines. Yeah, continuing to burrow these in kind of random spots around the map. Actually, a lot of value has been gotten off of... Ooh. Okay, well, the answer, Valdez, is clearly more barracks right now. This is going to be one of those no-rush 20 kind of situations where both players max out, get up to their highest level of technology. The Fleet Bacon is just about finished warping in. We're about to have some super crispy Protoss units about to come online. There it is, Tempest.
Yeah, this is usually what happens on Abyssal Reef, unless players hit timings at the third bases or it's TVT or something like this. Wow, those two Cyclones, so smart. Wow. They sniffed them out.
They did. They found them.
Scouting dogs.
Yeah, those are adept sniffing dogs. Every time I bring my my baggage home from a TVT or a TVP, I always have to get my adept sniffing dogs just to make sure that there aren't any hiding somewhere around there. All right.
The War Prism was taken out. I suppose maybe that was over here at these Adepts. Not 100% sure, but these Adepts have done absolutely nothing. Ryung found them. Classic didn't micro them. He shaded them on top of a tank, but unfortunately couldn't kill it, obviously, as there were a bunch of supporting units. And now Ryung's in a good spot. Does have that extended Liberator range, and he wants to potentially use that over here at the natural.
Now, especially with this extended Liberator range, Ryung, I don't think he knows about the Tempest yet. He might have scanned the Fleet Beacon and kind of know that they're on the way. He might not know about that. That could truly be surprising, especially if he tries to go in here. Oh, double overcharge. Is he going to pick off any of these dropships? No, they're not dropships. They're medevacs. But they will be dropping all of these units that they have shipped into the main. It's going to be a lot of damage here for Ryung.
Yeah, he sees the Tempest too. He should immediately begin Viking production, but he's actually making more Liberators right now. But I think he even took out one of those Tempests, and finally he comes in here trying to hit a timing, but a bunch of these Liberators are going to be taken out immediately.
Especially with those force fields. Only half of Ryung's army able to shoot here. All of these Liberators, highly upgraded though they may be, will be taken out.
It does take out 3 of the Colossi in the meantime, so not the worst trade in the world here.
Indeed there are not, but there's just not enough units here for the Terran to deal with. Even just the Tempest around the drop in the main has been cleaned up. I mean, Storm's on the way here for Classic. He might not even get a chance to experience that.
He just killed his own Colossus.
Is that...
I think he just clicked on his own Colossus.
I thought it was going to die to a Terran unit on the ground, and he barely did.
He picked up the Widow Mine.
Yeah.
The Widow Mine could not have hit that. So
did he like misclick and kill it?
Yeah, I think he actually just did that. Unless I was seeing that incorrectly, but...
Okay, that is odd.
So Ryung's really in an awkward spot. He lost a lot of his medevacs, but he doesn't have a bank to make Vikings, and he's using the starports for medevacs. So he's choosing to fight Storm, Colossus, Tempest with just Marine, Marauder, Medevac, and Ghost, which is something I haven't seen in a while. It's going to be good against the High Templar, I suppose, but probably not as good against a high number of Colossi.
To be fair, there are a very low number of Colossi now after many of them died last time. So let's see, I think there is only one right now with the focus being put on those Tempests.
Yeah,
now,
he is maxed out. 2 more are on the way.
Yeah. And we are going to see very similar army sizes here. Terran can produce quite a bit, and so should be able to, maybe not max out, but it will be very, very close. Look at Ryung trying to come around for the flank. Oh, nice feedback on that Ghost, preventing at least one of the EMPs.
Lots more Ghosts where that came from. Finally, we see some of them landing, and look at that concave.
Oh
Has
my
Ryung
God.
done it?
Ryung just stomping over this Protoss army. It's a great spot to put the Phoenixes, but there's nothing here to support. There aren't a lot of Marines here, so the ability to kill air units is not something that Ryung's army really does very well. So this will be a very slow and painful death for his very expensive air armada.
So I was doubting Ryung a little bit, but he pulled off the classic Ryung move, the flank. You know, he came from behind, he got the full surround on the entire Protoss army and did quite a nice job in taking out all those expensive Tempests. Can he actually kill Classic just yet? It doesn't look like it, but still he brought himself back into this game.
Let us not, as they say, get it twisted, Brendan. This is still a very, very strong Protoss player with great upgrades. +3, about to complete. Or +3, yeah, about to complete. This is going to be a very, very strong +3 also completing for Ryung's army too. So, but the biggest thing is that these Colossi are really going to start ripping through things, and this time they have support units. Nice tag there on the 4th dropships. They're going to try to come in.
You see how earnest that Oracle was to tag those units?
He was really
like, oh yeah, I found him! I found him!
I did good, boss. Am I a good boy? I am a good boy. He is a good boy. There we go. Good boy, Oracle. Oracles would be dogs in other lives.
Those are the Cyclones, actually.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Oracles, too. They're flying
dogs also deal no damage to air units, so they have that in common.
Yeah, true.
All right. So here we go. The now deathier Protoss Death Ball with very much storms will be pushing out across the map as this very revealed quad drop runs around the map trying to find some way to drop where it won't be quite as easy to scout. It looks like it can still come in for a flank here on Classic's army.
It looks like that's what he wants to go for. Some pretty nice EMPs. He still does have 4 storms, it looks like, on those 2 High Templars.
Right.
Are there any more EMPs where that came from, though? A High Templar in a really good spot to storm those flanking units. Perfectly done there.
Indeed, they are still a very scary force there, but look at these storms just carpet bombing the entire Terran army.
It looks like he's done it here. All those SCVs off the line, trying to fight for this Terran force, but it's just not going to be enough. Finally, the Warp Prism joins in this army, something he was missing a little bit earlier on, and finally, on Abyssal Reef, Classic has been able to do it. Some GG scans coming out.
Yeah.
He wants to know about if he has some more bases.
He sees that Classic has actually killed all of his units. I'm like, whoa, okay, wow, these scans actually worked out. So mass repair here on this Planetary Fortress will be at least somewhat effective, but I think here is where we will finally see Ryung start to break.
Yeah, the blink underneath the Liberators over here going to help out. The Colossi do all go down, but now about 100 supply ahead here is Classic.
55 SCV kills. It's been a while, Brendan, since I've seen that high a number
GG.
there. And indeed, the GS of Gs will come out, and that will be Classic.
Yeah, does take the win.
Advancing. Yes. There we go. All right. Now, yeah, that's my expression there. Ryung, unfortunately, unable to win his final game here in SSL Challenge. I do think, though, that Classic very well-deserved victory here. He's played very well all season long, so kind of expected to win. I don't think anybody would have necessarily expected for him to win in quite that manner, but yeah. A victory it is, nonetheless.
And Ryung will go home with $200 more, so good for him, but he will be out of this tournament here. Classic in a pretty good spot. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with Byung versus Deer.
Things turn, send a prayer to the ones up above. All the hate that